Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Glitch in the Matrix thread, anyone? My story is as follows. One day I was driving home from work. I was coming home on an interstate around 10 p.m. I was supposed to get off on exit 8. The exit before that, exit 13, came up and I blinked and was at exit 2. I could not have slept while driving, as I likely would have died. Roads are not super straight, and I would have run off-road. While this is likely unrelated, I got off exit 2 to go back roads to my home and got stuck behind a traveling circus 16-wheeler, and another pulled up behind me. Shit was strange. Anyone else missing time in their own lives?
You simply experienced what is known as road hypnosis. Driving is a rather easy task for the human mind, especially when you compare it to video games. We can drive with our unconscious mind. This has happened to me twice before, and believe me, it's scary as hell. It's only happened to me at night when I was on the road alone. Your mind gets hypnotized by the darkness, gentle hum of your tires, the rhythmic passing of white-yellow lines. It lulls your body into a state of unconsciousness where you're asleep, but your eyes are open, and you're driving. Every time it happened to me, there was a new piece of stimuli I was exposed to that broke my mesmerized state.
That's not really the same thing. Stepping out of your car and realizing you don't remember any of the drive isn't the same as remembering a skip in your experience of time. Your brain manages your experience of continuity, such that even if you don't remember what you had for breakfast, you don't actually remember your morning, as though you teleported from your bed to work. A break in your experience of continuity is usually either drugs, severe sleep deprivation, or undiagnosed epilepsy.
Not exactly a glitch in the Matrix, but somewhat relevant. I sort of believe in quantum immortality. I mean, there's been a couple times in my life where I think I should have died, but didn't. But most recently, there was something that really got me thinking. I was down at Fort Leonard Wood, and me and the other guys in the company were just hanging out in the barracks that night with nothing to do. I don't know how we settled on this, but we took this one guy and knocked him out. You know, that trick where someone bends over, hyperventilates, stands up real quick, and someone bear hugs them real tight and they pass out. We did it to a couple other chumps and everyone wanted to try it on me. At first I didn't want to, but the next night with nothing to do, I took a shot at it. Nothing happened. We tried several different ways and nothing worked. We got a couple guys who did competitive wrestling back home to put me in some headlocks and choke me out. And I was well past the point that someone should still be conscious, maybe even alive at that point. Cutting off the blood flow or air to my head just didn't knock me out. The others were pretty blown away by this. A week after that, me and my buddy were wrestling, and quite a few times he got me into a headlock. I never tapped out. And since I would never lose consciousness, I had more than enough time to get myself out of his holds. It's just very odd. Multiple times I should have been knocked out, or maybe even killed from the blood and air being cut off to my brain. But nothing happened. Part of me thinks that maybe there are other universes out there, ones that branches off from this one where I did die. And the universe I, or us, are in now is just the one where I've somehow survived each one of these ordeals. And this will continue to happen indefinitely. I just don't know. All I know is that I definitely should have been knocked out or killed from what they were doing to me.
Be dumbass kid. Hanging out in a ditch with a tiny stream in it. The ditch is about 8 feet tall. Get dared to jump off. Do it. Land safely, that was fun. Do it again. Land, but slit my arm open on a bush stump. If I were 2 inches to the right, I'd have impaled myself. Be dumbass teenager. Decide to drink with friends in the same ditch. Drink more than I can handle. Like 35 times the legal limit. Wake up perfectly fine in my bed. Though I did go to the hospital. Seems too convenient.
Same anon from last night. Your stream story reminds me of one of the things that happened when I was a kid. Me and my cousin would always go to this frozen body of water. Wasn't really a lake or anything. Some kind of dirty pond behind the woods of this baseball park. Houses, and the woods near the nearby hospital. We had been going there every winter whenever it froze and just play around on it. Of course, every year we grew taller and of course heavier, especially me since I was older and taller. We were walking on the ice when all of a sudden it broke right beneath me. I would have fallen right in and probably drowned under the ice like any other dumb kid, except for the fact that at the exact moment the ice broken, I slipped on that same piece that broke under my feet. This caused my upper body to fall backwards and I conveniently landed on my ass, sitting at the edge of the broken hole with my legs in the freezing water. Just the way the whole thing worked out was unreal. I think about it a lot.
Driving down the highway with a friend. Look off to the left and there's a plane floating above the nearest buildings about 200 yards in the air. Not flying on a course, but hovering still in the air. We both called it out and thought it might be a perspective thing as we drove towards the plane. We continue past on the highway and the plane sits in the same position in the sky. And we pass it going about 55 miles per hour as we slowed down and freaked out from what we saw. As we went past, I lowered the window and heard silence. Even if it was a plane being pushed back and held in position by a draft, it still would make noise. A hell of a lot of noise at that. I have no explanation. Maybe a hologram or faulty alien camouflage. But it still creeps me out.
I'm still not sure what happened here. Probably it was our own stupidity, but it felt like something you could call a glitch. This happened while hiking and trekking with my brother and his girlfriend. We were on vacation, and that day we had left the bigger town we were staying in and decided to spend it in a lake near a smaller one, located in a valley. Important detail. There were always mountains around us. There was really few people there, and there were lots of paths you could take to do some walking on the mountains. They were all properly signalized, so getting lost was practically impossible. We climbed through one of them, got to a nice spot to get a good sight of the lake beneath, etc. Then we headed back. Now, all three of us can swear we took the exact same path we had taken to get there. And while everything there looked pretty much the same, there were woods around and on the mountains, it seemed like it. Then, suddenly, the woods came to an end, and there was a meadow in front of us. There was nothing but grass, no trees, and more shockingly, no mountains in front of us, although we didn't realize it right there. Only another section of woods like the one we had just left at about 100 meters ahead. Since we hadn't seen a meadow on our way up, we all resolved we had lost our way at some point, so we went back to the sighting point. There we weren't unsure what to do because there were only two paths, one that kept going up and the one we had just taken. Going up was not an option, so we took again the same path, and this time we managed to get out of the woods back to the lake. No meadow. Later that night we were talking about it, and that's when we realized the lack of mountains. It felt like a section of the woods had disappeared, like when a game is loading. Or maybe we just got lost.
Do you ever wonder if anything would have happened if you'd walked through the meadow? Thinking about it would fuck with my head a little.
We talked about it with my brother. Obviously, we don't know if something would have happened at all. As weird as it was, I still don't think it was something really paranormal. But we both found it weird that none of us felt any curiosity at all and wanted to take a look, and instead, we just turned around and left. Then again, we were tired and hungry, and it was getting dark. It's not like we actually felt something pushing us away.
Be me. Started at a new office. About once a week, every Monday, my full pad of Post-it notes disappear entirely. No way I was going through that many weekly. Always have to go to the supply cabinet to get more. It starts legitimately getting annoying. Ask around. Everybody already has their own Post-it notes. No need to steal mine. Nobody admits to pulling my leg or pranking me. I just blame the cleaning lady. Find out that the cleaning lady comes during the week after I leave, like on Wednesday, not over the weekend. Never got an answer as to why my Post-it notes would just be gone every week. Now I just start assuming that it's one of our sales consultants being an asshole. Fortunately, between getting a new cleaning lady and office turnover, I am now able to go months without getting a new Post-it note pack from the back. Which raises the question, with the sales consultants basically being the same group as they were back then. Who exactly was it then who kept stealing my Post-it notes? Just a weird mystery I'll probably never get an answer to.
Let me start by saying I'm not sure if this was a so-called glitch in the Matrix or a combination of dreaming and sleepwalking, but it screwed me up for a while when I was a kid. Move into a new house, parents say I can pick which room I want to be mine. Pick a finished bedroom in the unfinished basement because I'm a cringe 8-year-old. The bedroom has a glass window looking out into the unfinished basement. Also a window looking outside. Tiny window at the upper corner of the wall because of the basement. Always sort of creeped me out, having a window looking into a room with concrete and exposed piping everywhere. Anyway, always fall asleep watching MTV for some reason. One night fall asleep with MTV on and wake up to TV showing static. Really creeped out by that alone. Also notice for some reason I can't see any light at all through the small window leading to outside. Have to pee. Eventually get the balls to get out from under the blankets to go upstairs to pee. Look over the side of the bed first for some reason. See a small dog-sized dark creature kind of gyrating oddly near the bottom of the bed. It notices me and sprints under my bed. Freeze, don't move for like 30 minutes in pure terror. Come up with a plan of throwing the blanket down on the side of the bed so it can't come out and run to turn on the light. Execute plan.exe. I jump out of bed and in the split second it takes me to run to the door, I look out the window into the unfinished basement. Tons of faces, featureless except for eyes looking in at me. Get to light switch and flip it on. The room is illuminated. MTV is playing early morning music videos. Look out the window and see nothing but the basement. Look out the other window, the sun is rising and everything is being lit up. Pull the blanket back and look under the bed, nothing under there. Turn off the light and the room is lit by the sunrise. I thought it was around 2 o'clock in the morning on a moonless night, based on how dark my room was moments before. I attribute this to kids having overactive imaginations, but I still remember it so vividly it makes me doubt that it was imagined or dreamed. Also, needless to say, I never slept in that room again.
I was always a size 10.5 shoe, and now I'm a size 9. The receipt in an old email even says 10.5 comma, but the shoes I have are 9. Another major shift I noticed was March 11th, 2020. I woke up without any anxiety at all. I suddenly just didn't have any fear and didn't give a shit about anything. It was a great shift for me, especially that stupid year. In January 2021, I suddenly lost my interest and craving for alcohol. It just completely went away, and I felt like I got off easy. Also, I came across 2 normies that I knew in the past, and both of them have completely different ethnic identities, memories, and jobs. It's like they were reset. You don't go from being a doctor to a fashion designer in a year. A third one even had a shitload of tattoos on his arms that I had never seen before after seeing him shirtless for years.
Hey/X/. I have a very peculiar reality glitch story from my youth. It basically involves a mysterious car company that doesn't exist. PIC-related is the insignia for its logo. I remember that very clearly, but oddly cannot clearly remember its name. All I remember is that its name is a very long French-sounding word, beginning with the letter E. What I experienced is typical reality glitch behavior. My childhood was in the early 90s in New England. I was in elementary school at the time. These cars at the time were quite common and could be seen almost on a daily basis. There was a sedan model and a wagon that was probably based on the same platform. There was nothing remarkable about the design language. The front end was similar to what Toyota and Honda built. The back end was more like a Volvo. The company's insignia was engraved in chrome on the front of the grille, which was sort of shaped like an inverted trapezoid. Aside from seeing them in person, I saw ads for them in magazines and billboards. Interestingly, my neighbor had one of the sedans. I even rode in it once, and that same logo was on the leather steering wheel. Although I was too young to sit in the front at the time, I could see that the gauges on the dashboard were completely digital, like on an analog clock, but in a variety of different colors, including red, yellow, and green. The glitch begins after I graduated from 4th grade and moved on to middle school. You can pretty much guess what happens. I stopped seeing them altogether. I never saw them again. It's not like the company went defunct, because there would still be a lot of them on the road. This was not the case. Not only did I never see the cars again, all records of them vanished. No more ads, nothing. I cannot find anything to this day, even on the internet. Up until then, I must have seen hundreds of them. Surely the company must at least have a Wikipedia page, but it did not. Really bizarre.
Crazy shit, OP. I actually have something quite similar in my area, Rochdale, UK. If anyone from my area is present and might remember. When I was young, all over the place, there would be graffiti saying Rambo in different lettering and stuff, as it was graffiti, but the one word was the same. I used to always wonder what it meant, and I weren't the only person aware of it. I had a close friend who saw it too, and other people acknowledged it. Now I'm older, none of this graffiti is anywhere to be seen, which is odd as the area is always full of graffiti and scum. It's basically a lost cause. No one even tries to tidy it up. So it's highly unlikely the Rambo graffiti was removed. It just disappeared from existence.
One time when I was coming home with friends, I went in my back gate, let all my friends in, and then shut the gate. My dog was harassing my friends at the time and tried to get inside. We kept him outside and went inside. About 5 minutes later, I could hear my dog's footsteps outside my window. My window's at the front of the house. I tell my friends I think my dog is out the front, but they call me paranoid, etc. But after a few minutes, I go outside to find the gate wide open and my dog pacing out the front of our house. There is no way that the gate could have opened itself, as it is very hard to open and close, and the gate is right next to my window, so I would have heard it. So goddamn eerie. I've also had many a times where I would just stop what I'm doing to see an event happen. Like the other day, I was pulling into a car park and I heard a faint stop. I reluctantly slowed my vehicle to see a man speed past that was in the wrong lane and would have deboned me if I hadn't stopped. Also, when these things happen, it's not shocking at all. It's like I knew it was coming, so I know what to expect.
There are 2 events I have that are maybe unexplainable. One day from the Aldi Find section, my girlfriend gets a cheap pair of navy blue sneakers. She wears these navy blue sneakers all the time, basically become her favorite shoes. Always help match her outfits to the shoes, like a navy blue shirt or a navy blue flannel. One day when hanging out, I noticed that her navy blue shoes are completely black. She is equally surprised, so we do some tests like holding up black-colored fabrics, etc. These shoes are the most inky pitch black material that could be manufactured. There is no way in hell they could ever be mistaken for the color navy blue in any light. We both are freaked out by this, and I convince her to throw her shoes in the garbage. I talk with her about it to this day, but it freaks her out too much and she doesn't like it. The second event, I have no witness other than my own 2 eyes, be me on the toilet, staring straight ahead because I guess I forgot my phone. Looking at the clutter on the counter, annoyed my girlfriend left her stuff in the bathroom. There is also 2 rubber bands from work I had set there myself before taking a shower. Be rehearsing in my head what I'll say to her about cleaning her stuff up when I get out. The whole time I'm looking at this stuff on the counter, thinking about it, decide I need to pick up my rubber bands before I remind her as to not be a hypocrite. Thinking in my head this whole time I'm gonna pick up those damn 2 rubber bands. When I turn my head up and look forward again, there is only her stuff on the counter. I stand there dumbfounded, then try to figure out where they could have fallen to. No breeze, no open window, no open vent. It's like there never were any rubber bands. Pretty non-consequential, but has changed my view on reality.
One night in late July of last year, a friend, we'll call him Chris, and I decided to do LSD. It was liquid drops that my brother's friend's cousin had a hookup for. When we went to go do them, 2 each, and came back to the party we were at, it was disbanded. We had a long night ahead of us, so we decided to phone up anyone who was home and awake past midnight. My other good friend, we'll call him Dave, offered us to stay outside for as long as we wanted to, so the 3 of us laid on the trampoline out back and watched the stars and talked about life for a couple hours. I got a call from a friend I had called before about staying somewhere for the night, but I declined the call because I only had 9% charge on my cell. Dave went to get us snacks like the bro he is, and when he got back and we were getting situated, he stopped to point something out in the sky. Dave was the first to spot it, and the only one who wasn't on LSD of the three of us. It was slightly above the tree line, so Chris debunks it as a streetlight. I keep observing, though, because I always had an obsession with aliens and UFOs. Gradually, the light hovers above the tree line, and it's clear to see that this orange glowing orb is not connected to anything and is in fact a flying object. I'm immediately hysterical. Dave asks why I'm not recording, and I instantly realize that I should have been, but I was distracted by the magnificence of what lies before us. I'll include the link at the end. I also want to mention that this orb seemed to be 100 to 200 yards away, at least from my speculation. The anomaly continues to hover around as I get my phone ready. As I'm looking, I suggest that it's a paper lantern. Dave and Chris both subtly agree, but cautiously observe. Once I start recording, the object lies still. I zoom out to compare the UFO to the moon about 12 seconds in. Almost a year later, I found that at that moment in the video, the object dodges to the right, almost like it's trying to escape the frame of my video. This is an important analysis because it works to prove that the variable of being on LSD did not alter the reality of what occurred. 52 seconds into the recording, my phone gives out. I already had a low charge, and believe me, I was upset with the fact that I couldn't record what happened next. I am more grateful that I was able to capture what I did, and to take something away from the experience. I drop my cell on the trampoline and continue to exclaim, "Holy shit!" This paper lantern started to emit a red and blue light, one on each side. So Dave and Chris and I look at each other and attempt to identify this as a drone. It's 3 in the morning. The likelihood of people partying on a Wednesday night, fucking with paper lanterns or drones are thin. What happens next is that the anomaly forms a single point. Within 5 seconds, it emits an airplane out of that center point from nose to tail, 30 to 40 feet long, and sends it flying over us very low and very quiet. In short, it turned into an airplane and flew away. I'm not sure if I've gone nuts by now, contemplating what it truly was. I knew what I saw was not only real, but incomprehensible. I guess I just want answers, but even when people believe me, they're just as clueless as I am. If you've read this far, I suppose you'll want to see what I've got. I want you to have your own opinion, and skeptics are very welcome to, politely, exercise skepticism. Thanks for reading.
Holy shit!
I don't think it's a UFO, Joe. Take a picture, Dane.
Holy shit, I'm zooming into it right now. This is what I'm seeing. What the fuck is that? That's a beautiful picture though. But like, I don't know what the fuck it is, but I'm zooming out. There it is. There's the moon right there. There's that. What the fuck is that? Holy shit! What the fuck is it?
Dude, look how much like...
What the fuck is it?
Dude, it's getting higher.
Holy shit, what is that? Oh my god.
You know what it might
Should I not stop filming?
It might be one of those like those Chinese lanterns.
I hope it is.
You think so? Could be. Like on this
It better be.
It might be.
Oh my god.
I don't know if they'll get that.
I know I knew I was an alien.
I'd bet that it actually was a plane. The video you linked to looks like it comes closer and closer, until you can see the 3 dots are actually far apart and are on a plane. Perspective.
I have multiple stories which may seem familiar because I've posted them here before. I work in a restaurant and all of the tables are numbered. The weirdest table seems to be table 40. It is the most closed-off table in the restaurant, and people are very weird about sitting there. Some people really want to, and some really don't. I've personally had some weird experiences with that table. One day I'm at the front of the restaurant. Turn around and look at the general direction of table 40. Sees one of the servers coming around the corner with a tray full of drinks. I turn and look away for a second. Look back at table 40. The server is gone. There is no way she could have moved that fast. Sees her come around the corner with the same tray full of drinks. It was a strange experience, but I didn't think too much about it until it happened again another night with a different server. That's when I started to realize how weird table 40 is. I and many others get déjà vu around table 40. One morning I'm training a new host. We were doing things that needed to be done before we opened. We were in the section with table 40. New host says she feels like she has done this with me before. This was the first time we had ever worked together, and it was the first time she had worked in this restaurant at all. I realized she was standing at table 40. 3 spoopy 5 me. One night, me and another host turned the corner by table 40. We were casually walking when we almost slammed into a server. She was at table 40. She had not been there a second ago when we turned the corner. We still don't know what happened and how she appeared there. My other glitch, once again I have posted this here before. Nice day, about 3 p.m. Driving with one of my best friends, my sister and her boyfriend. Friend of mine was in the passenger seat. My sister and her boyfriend were in the back seat. We're going to get ice cream and we're waiting to turn right onto another road. As we're waiting, it's a green light for the street perpendicular to us to turn left. I noticed that one of the cars that was turning looked just like the car that I usually drive. I had my dad's car instead today because my car was at the mechanic. It was a blue Dodge Neon. It caught my attention since I have that car, so I looked closer at it. I noticed an antenna ball head on the antenna. The weird thing is that it was the same one that I had on my car. Right after I noticed that, my friend yelled, "What the fuck, that's you!" My gaze snapped to the driver. It was me. Same hair, same awkward sitting position, and they were even wearing one of the shirts I own. I only looked for like half a second since that is all of the time I had, but I still firmly believe that it was me in that car.
I have always had déjà vu. Happens fairly regularly. The usual, oh shit, weird, I feel like I've done this before, you know how it goes. The last episode I had was very strange though. Apparently I became stuck in a loop of recurring déjà vu for a few minutes. It started just like any other time. I had that feeling of recognition, knowing I was having déjà vu. But I realized I was having déjà vu while having it. I, according to my fiancé, exclaimed something along the lines of, "Holy shit, I'm having déjà vu, but I know it's happening." This continued multiple times and the episode lasted a few minutes. She told me afterwards that I had kept repeating the same thing over and over, as if I was entranced. I did not realize I had kept repeating myself. I do remember having déjà vu where I was having déjà vu, but that's it. Because normally I'll have it and it's like I'm eating cereal or doing a chore or something, and I feel as if I've done it before the exact same way, such that it feels more like a memory than actual real-time life. But this time I had déjà vu about me having déjà vu, and I guess that threw me for a loop. My fiancé told me afterwards that my reaction to the realization began as excited and sort of, wow, I can't believe this is happening, and ended up giving her this vibe that I was scared and or confused. To me, it felt like I only said it once, but she said I kept saying it. She was reading or something and thought I was messing with her. Then she pulled her attention from the book after she realized I'd said it like 10 times already, and noticed that, according to her, my reaction to the experience had worsened. I remember snapping out of it and just being like, wow, WTF just happened.
I was trying to meditate while lying on my side because it's comfortable. Trying to open the third eye and shit. After only a few seconds, I get extremely concentrated. Images going through my head. Visions of weird, fantastic places that can't be from this reality. See myself lying there, looks like some kind of greenish turquoise water is running over me very fast. Entire body feels like it is being crushed. Suddenly cannot see anything. Get extremely dizzy. Feels like a shitload of energy is flowing through my body. So much that it is unbearable and uncomfortable. Suddenly get out of this state because this amount of energy was too unbearable. Freaked me out pretty much. I never really believed in meditation and that kind of stuff before. So when I got this experience, I was like, oh man, this shit really works.
I've had these dream visions as well, and I've tied them down, from personal experience, to stress or any other immense crushing feeling. I also strolled around the net and found out that people from their early teens to late teens have these events more often. I've seen a lot of mundane things, but mine are short like 5 or 10 seconds, and during that time I would be in a shock state, unable to move and focused on one point in space, afraid to change things. Because I'm always in a shock state, I can identify the dreams. I'm in shock in the dream as well, but the things seen are truly pointless, ranging from seeing Witcher 2 and Game HUD to sitting on a bus. The only thing I'm worried about is losing this. As of recent years, I don't think I've seen things in my dreams even when I got myself into situations that I knew would cause me immense stress. I haven't dreamt anything new, but I've had the older dreams focus around the time period of the stressful events. There are just more of them during these times. They happen all year around.
When I was a teenager, I would randomly have episodes where I would become extremely dizzy and everything in the world became a swirl of incomprehensible rainbow colors. I would not know who I was, where I was, and have no concept of time because when I came out of the episode, I didn't know if 1 second had passed or 30 minutes. I would fall to the ground and just spaz out. I don't know if it was a type of seizures, but I was never diagnosed because we ghetto as hell. But if seizure people see rainbows, then I guess that's what it is. My hearing would almost all blur and just sound like noise, not white noise. And my vision would go gray and act like some shitty game filter where everything sort of stacks on top of the previous image. I remember falling out of a bar stool type chair and ending up having a sort of seizure where I was just kicking my legs for like 4 minutes.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.